slave when I was young and behaved, while I blissfully listened to J5's Love You Saved. That amazingly paved the way for me to step it up a nudge. So I earnestly got immersed in the verses of Steve and Judd. His style was so sublime, even bordering on divine, which made me often forget that the brother was physically blind. That's why I shine, be rich vocals intertwined with fine rhymes to pay homage to the soul gods that inspire me all the time. So I'm inclined to chime in on these youngers that spit over whack trap rap skits about Molly's thoughts and sips of the syrup. It's so disturbing with the onslaught of the garbage by these fraudulent imposters. These solitudes need to stop it. It's much more to this thing than big bling and huge profit. Please acknowledge what I'm dropping, cause y'all trappers defy logic, it ain't rocking. Feel this groove that'll warm you up like tropic. My style is so picturesque, there's no need to crop it.
Then turn to a dog, feel like I'm Joe hating. Crystal shining, I'm a diamond in the rough, patiently waiting. All this hate is so blatant, cause my words are never embrace them. I'm complicated, domination while you are motivated. Yeah, decided to grab a mic, when my punches hit all this mic, I can kill for a thrill like Mike. I was fearless with any shot, combining it one as Tyson minds in this sentence. It's unfair that you careless, I'm grinding gears to become the greatest student in hip-hop. Give all the praise to the legends, from the Dr. Hova, my musical DNA is saying what's going on with your path. I think you should rearrange it with all this solar music. Your body is going brainless, new gens are ranges. This here is passion and love that's everlasting. I'm clashing within the demons to tweak my sound to appeal to masses. The devil's dancing, the angels control the battle. Whenever that music stop, open your eyes, I see that man is you.
The app is now available on your Google Play and your App Store, on your iPhone or your Android, any of your pads that you might be using, be it if it's an iPad, iPad mini, or if you have a Samsung Note, it doesn't matter what you have, any mobile device, you can get the app so you can listen where you're at to Win DC Radio.
Keep it locked. You're listening to the Pandora Word Box Show on Win DC Radio.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. It's your girl Pandora Love, and you're now tuned into the Pandora Word Box Show. Today, I have a very special guest. It's my boy, 20 Bello. This is a exclusive interview. We're going to talk about Wounded Alive, the book, his show, his new show, and how he's changing from open mics and all that to this new arts show that he has. And we also want to talk about the big movement that I love he doing is going to the youth centers, talking to the youngins in there. So we're going to do that. We're going to get more in tune with who 20 Bello really is. So I'm going to let y'all listen to this song by Patrice Live, and we be right back.
Everything you do is exceptional. You deserve the best, cause you give me nothing less. And I'll be damned if I ever dare to let you go. I'd be downright crazy to deserve my baby. He cooks my meals, washes my clothes, holds me tight when I need a shoulder to cry on. He holds me down so I'll always be around. That's why I just wanna show my appreciation for everything you've done. Baby, you're such a good man to me. You're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. I just wanna show you why I love you. Always thinking of you. Baby, you're such a good man to me. You're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. Next to your love, there's no comparison. There's no other man that can love me like you can. And I know that I'll never find another lover better than you. So you gotta understand that I'll give you any and everything that you need. Promise that you'll always find everything here in me. I'll never let you go, so I gotta let you know exactly how I appreciate you, baby. I just wanna show my appreciation for everything you've done. Baby, you're such a good man to me. You're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. I just wanna show you why I love you. Always thinking of you, baby. You're such a good man to me. You're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. Ladies out there, if you got a good man, put your hands up. Say, yeah, I got a winner. All my ladies out there, if you got a good man, put your hands up. And say, yeah, I got a winner. Let them know that you love them. You're always thinking of them. That you appreciate and you put no one else above them. You'll hold him down and you'll always be around forever and always. That's why I just wanna show my appreciation for everything you've done. Everything you've done. You're such a good man. You're such a good man. You're a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner. Yes, you are. I just wanna tell you I appreciate you. So you never have to wonder how I feel. You're a winner. You make me feel so good. You're a winner. I just want you to know I'm grateful for all the things you've done. You're such a good man to me. You're a winner. Keep on winning. You're a winner, babe.
This Wild Boy Ron, you tuned in to Pandora World Box Show on Win DC Radio. Whoa, yeah.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Pandora, and we back in the box. And of course, my boy 20 Bello's here. He's in now. You make sure.
Building right now. Yes, here we go. I am here. What's up?
What's up? Alright, so for the people that don't know you, tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is 20 Bello. I do a lot of different things, but you know, I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm just everything, for real. Every positive thing I am. So, you know, that's what I do, man. I'm creative, man. I just like to create art and music and shows, and I like to write, you know, things like that. So that's basically what I do. And I am, you know, I got a Wounded Alive movement that we'll talk about in detail when the time comes. But that's who I am, man. I'm just a down-to-earth person, man. I don't play no games, though, you know. I don't play no games at all, man. So, but it's just about, you know, trying to be creative, man. And that's exactly what I need to do in my life, and try to help other people is my goal. You know what I mean?
Right. So you are a Washingtonian. You lived here all your life? Have you ever moved out the area?
I was born at Howard University Hospital. I've been a Washingtonian my entire life. I lived in Maryland for 16 years, I think. And that's when I was 22, I moved to Maryland. Then I moved back So I'm just coming back home to DC. But I never left the area, so I've always been in the DMV. You know what I mean? And that's just what it's about. You know what I mean? A true Washingtonian is somebody that's true. Like they had that. You remember they had the little Washingtonian, true Washingtonian movement going on? It was crazy. It was so many people in this big old picture, right? And they had everybody that, you know, was a true Washingtonian going on. I ain't go. I wanted to go, but I was too busy. But I am a true Washingtonian. You know what I mean? And that's what it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I see that you went to Duke Ellington. What did you major in at Duke Ellington?
Visual arts.
Oh.
It's funny how I got into Duke Ellington because I went to Shaw Junior High. And my first year, I went to Seton, then I graduated. I went to Shaw. My first year in Shaw, they kicked me out. They kicked me out. They said I fought too much. I only fought one time in Shaw. And that was a bully who was trying to bully me. And he got whooped. So, he got whooped, and they kicked me out, told me they made up some bogus trash about I wasn't in the zone. You know how they got the zones.
Right, you didn't live in that zone.
But I lived, Shaw is on 9th Street. I lived on 6th Street.
Really?
3 blocks away.
Right, because my family lived on 12th Street and they went to Shaw. So
right.
Right.
And then I lived. My grandmother lived on 13th Street. Right. So either way, I'm right there at Shaw. And they said so. But that was the best thing that happened to me because I ended up going to Francis, which was way further than 6th Street. Right. That's in Georgetown. Right. But had I not went to Francis, I would have never went to Duke Ellington because at Francis, my art teacher was like, you should go and audition to Duke. I didn't know what Duke Ellington was. So he gave me the information. I went up there and I had to draw a live model with charcoal. I've never done that before in my life, but I was a natural artist. And I drew it. And this was like the summer of 91. And I got a letter. And I was like scared to open the letter because
like a college letter, right?
Yeah, because they'll send you a letter and say, you know, whether or not you accept it or not. And I got the letter, and man, I think that was probably the happiest day of my life, coming from where I came from,
right,
in the hood, to get a letter saying I was accepted into an art school. So I went, and visual arts. I wasn't even doing music at that time. I was just art. I would write, you know what I mean? I would write poetry and stuff, but I ain't never wrote music and stuff. I ain't get into music till after high school.
Okay, so at that time, was you with your mom or was you with your grandmother?
I was with my grandmother.
So how was her reaction when you got that letter?
My grandmother was proud because, see, my grandmother had 3 sons, and one of them was murdered. The other one OD'd and died, and my father was he was sentenced to 13 to life for murder, so he was basically out of the picture too. So my grandmother basically lost all 3 sons.
All the boys. Right.
And I was the one she was raising. So she was proud. Like she and I understand it till now how strict my grandmother was. It was because she lost 3 sons. Like nobody in my entire family stayed with my grandmother more than me. Like I lived with my grandmother from the time I was like maybe 9 up until 18. Okay. So like 10 years, you know. Probably, and then off and on when I was a child up until 9, but never permanently. Because my mom, you know, she was on drugs, and my father was locked up. The same story we hear all the time. But my grandmother, Miss Emma, she raised me, and then my mother's father, Moses, raised me, and then my grandfather, my grandmother Emma's husband, they raised me. So my 3 grandparents raised me in between 6th Street and 13th Street.
And I know being raised by the grandparents could be kind of hard because they got the old-fashioned ways.
It start
as
lightning.
You older now, you realize it.
Turn the TV off, baby. It's lightning outside. I'm like, Grandma.
Don't answer. They got to get off the phone.
Get off the phone. I'm like, man, I used to hate when it rained.
But you realize now it was all tough love because you use a lot of that today in your life.
My grandmother died a few years ago. She died in her 80s. You know what I mean? My grandmother lived a long life. And my grandmother was the first person that ever taught me how to pray. You know what I mean? And it used to be this little picture over my bed of this little black boy with his hands in a prayer position. And my grandmother taught me the Lord's Prayer as a child. She never took me to church. she probably took me to church maybe once or twice. My grandmother wasn't a church lady. My grandmother used to run a brothel.
Okay.
And she used to peddle drugs.
So your whole family on the
my grandmother was a pimp.
Oh,
but
Lord.
you know, cause as a little boy, I just see all these white women and stuff coming in and out of the house, an apartment. We live in an apartment, and they would go in the middle room, and I'm like, what's going on? As a little boy, but then all that stuff stopped. Like she stopped drinking. She smoked cigarettes for a while. She gave that up after a while, and she cleaned herself up just like my mother did. My mother stopped smoking, stopped drinking, stopped doing all that when I was 18, and she been clean since then. You know what I mean? So my grandmother, when she died, you know, I was like, damn, you know how you know, people who you love die, you like, damn, I should have spent a little bit more time with them, you know, but you get busy in life and you trying to make a name for yourself and trying to live life, and you just don't spend enough time with the people you love, you know what I mean? Like my mother just told me she got cancer. Like,
Mom?
Yeah, but the good thing about it is they caught it so early that she's about to have surgery and they're going to get rid of it. Now, if it return, who knows? But when she told me that, I was like, damn, man, life is so precious. You know what I mean? Like you just don't know what's going to happen from day to day. You know what I mean? And that's what Wounded Alive is about. You know, it's really about recognizing the stuff and things that you've been through in life. Like the whole book is about my life. It's all true. Everything in that book is true. There's no lies, no made up stuff. You know, everything from, you know, the drug game to prison to getting shot up by the police to coming out trying to make a name for myself, coming from where I came from.
Right.
And I think it's going to help other people, like really help people like look at it. Because, you know, the pastors and preachers out here, they lying to people. You know what I mean? They out here lying, saying, you know, trying to make it seem like, you know, God don't want you to struggle, and you know it's going to be okay. Joy come in the morning. That's not always how it is. God allows you to struggle for a reason. You know what I mean? This is not your home. Trials and tribulations are going to come, especially if you know God. They're going to come even harder. You know, there's nowhere in the Bible that says you're going to have a perfect, happy life. Right. Nowhere at all. Nowhere. In fact,
nobody in the Bible did.
In fact, it says the opposite. You're going to be persecuted. You're going to be, you know, hated on. Like, you're going to be disrespected. Like, that. Those things are going to happen to you. You know what I mean? And so you got to understand with every challenge, every obstacle that you go through, that it's there for a reason. There's a lesson in everything that happens in your life. Now, the question is whether or not you're going to take that lesson and realize it and use it, or are you just going to complain about how hard it is? You know what I mean? Everything hard. You complain about everything this hard, that hard. You're not building your character. I've been through so much stuff, man. And I'm not saying that I'm to the point if I go through something, it's not going to affect me. It will affect me. Right. But it's not going to affect me that long. You know what I mean? Right. Because I've been through harder things, and I'm going to bounce back eventually. Because I'm human. You know what I mean? You're going to bounce back.
Damn, died and came back. So yeah, what else can it be?
I've been in cells 23 and a half a day in the heat with no AC. Imagine being in a jail cell with no air conditioner for 23 hours a day in a little, no bigger than your bathroom with no AC. And you have a fan blowing on the walk. And inmates fighting over which direction the fan should blow. Because nobody got air.
Air, right.
You know, you hot, you depressed, you locked up like an animal. You know, it's inhumane. My mother had to write the mayor, you know, to tell her about the conditions at the jail. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, it's crazy. Like, it's just, but you learn in those times. Like, you have to, you know, take from those times and better yourself. And when I go to the jails and talk to them youngins, I look at them and I see myself. Because I was in the same jail when I was their age. You know what I mean? And they know that.
And wishing somebody was standing there talking to you like you talk.
But what they do is they don't talk to them the way they should. Like, I give you an example. We over there And you know the guards, they there to do a job, right? They don't care about them kids. You know what I mean? They talk to them any kind of way. They look at them. They don't talk to them from a place of love and compassion, regardless of what they done. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't approach it like that. They do piss me off sometimes, and I got rant about some youngins sometimes. But I come from a place of I really don't want you to go through the things that I went through. You're gonna go through some things, but some things you can avoid. Some things you can avoid by not doing certain actions, like selling drugs and shooting people and stuff like that, and carrying guns like I did. Like, you don't want to go down that road because it may seem okay at the time, but when you get my age and you still, having problems because, you still a felon, you know what I mean? That affects your whole life, man. Like, I can't even apply for an apartment without them running a criminal background check.
Right.
I make X amount of dollars.
I was about to say, but the crazy thing is you have a top-notch job.
I have a top-notch job, and I have 6 or 7 streams of income. However, I can't go and get a penthouse. We're going to see this penthouse tomorrow.
Just because of your background.
And I can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
But I might get denied just because of my background. You know what I mean? And that's something that the young kids don't understand, that felony, the way this system is designed, that felony is like the biggest killer of the African American spirit. That felony. Because why can't they come up with a system where, okay, if you are young and you commit a felony, like the Youth Act, the Youth Act I was under, that gives you a second chance. As a youth, you made a mistake, you caught a felony, but if you complete your sentence and your probation, then the Youth Act is going to be taken off of your record, right? But no, they Title 16 these youngins now. They charging them as an adult off the break. And what that does is that take away your voting rights for a while. It's disenfranchisement, because why am I losing my voting rights? Because I committed a crime. I didn't commit a voting fraud crime or a vote crime. Because it's designed that way. The people in power know that you have the right to vote. That's take away their right. That way we can stay in power. And how we take away their right? When they get locked up, they don't have the right to vote. How we gonna get them locked up? Put them in a community and starve them. Mm-hmm. They gonna go out and they gonna commit crimes. Mm-hmm. Don't give them jobs. Don't give them the opportunities, the educational opportunities they should have. And then they going to go out and they going to commit crimes because their mentality now is kill or be killed. And everybody hate each other now. I got a mug on you to keep you from messing with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I gotta look at you crazy just hoping you don't try me. I can't speak to you and say, hey, what's up, brother? Because you're going to think I'm soft.
You say what's up, he's like, what's up? And they ready to fight.
They ready to fight. And that's the mentality of our people now. So I can't change nobody. Like, that's not I can't change
But if
nobody.
you help one, that's something.
They have to want to change themselves. Right. Now, I could give them the tools to change. And I could give them my experience. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they're going to have to do what I did when I was in that cell. And I decided consciously to make a change in my life, and I made that change as hard as it was. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, but I can't, like I said, I can't save nobody, but I can reach out and and talk to them and do my best on that side. Like, I'm not perfect, nobody is, but I'm gonna do what I can.
Okay, so being a black male, especially here in DC, how was it coming up without a dad? Things that went on. I know you had your granddad. And,
I give you an example of how hard it was.
And then your dad, his charge, like that's his son right there. Like, they I know that name followed it.
My father was fed in the streets. You know what I mean? But I give you a period of my life where I really needed my father, but I knew he wasn't going to be able to be there. Like, I think I was in the 3rd grade. I was going to KC Lewis at the time because I had left seating. And I was living up Brown Street, right by the old Wonder Bread factory, right by the McDonald's, Howard University. And my mother was messing with this dude, and my mother was on drugs, but she was messing with this dude named Mac. And Mac used to abuse me and my brother physically. He used to beat us all the time. He used to make us stand in a corner for 24 hours at a time, to the point even today that I still get flashbacks of the paint smell from the wall that I was standing in front of for 24 hours. So I needed my father to come and beat this guy up. You know, now this is a child thinking. I needed my father to come to the rescue, and I'm like, he must don't know who my father is. You know what I mean? And my father, he was angry, but he couldn't do nothing about it because my mother had stopped going to see my father a long time. You know, because my father used to abuse my mother. My father used to put out cigarettes on my mother in the visiting room. He used to slap my mother in the visiting room. And my mother eventually left him and stopped going down there to see him. And so he couldn't do nothing. And honestly, the way I know now, I don't think he would have done nothing if he was home. Because right now, my father been home for a few years. And he don't even call me. You know what I mean? Birthday come, I don't hear nothing from my father. My kids' birthday come, they don't hear nothing from their grandfather. And it's crazy because their mother's from Virginia Beach. And her family is in Virginia Beach. They know the family in Virginia Beach more than the family in D.C. You know what I mean? Like, they know that side of the family more than my side because my side is so dysfunctional. It's everybody for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, they don't. But I needed my father that one particular time. Not just one particular time, but you know what I mean? Like, during that phase. And I was like, but, you know, in hindsight, it made me a stronger person to go through that. Like, no child should be abused. Right. And, you know, when I went to court for my son, his mother accused me of child abuse. Right? I've never abused my kids. All 3 of them, they'll tell you right now, Daddy, I don't remember the last time I even spanked my daughters. Because I don't have to spank my daughters. Because they were raised right and they well behaved. However, she, you know, accused me of child abuse just to try to get custody. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I've been through child abuse. Like, they say if you was abused, you gonna abuse.
You be an abuser.
And that's not true.
Say that.
That's not true. Yeah. That's not true because I would never, ever put my kids in those situations like that. You know what I mean? Like, I love my kids too much. And I know what it feels like to be in the next room or be in a room trying to sleep and somebody who hates you come in the room and hit you in the head. You know what I mean? Right. This guy used to come in the room, stand on the bed and hit me and my brother in the face. And me and my brother used to like try to fake like we was asleep. Mm-hmm. But man, why you hitting us? Why you hitting us in our face and hitting us? You know, like for what? Like we ain't in trouble. We ain't do nothing. So I ran away. I ran away from my mother. On that one particular time, I ran down to my grandfather who was on 6th Street. May he rest in peace. And I never went back. And that was the 3rd grade. I never went back to my mother after that. I did go at age 12. I was living on 58 and I caught a charge. One of my first charges, grand larceny, with some friends, and I ain't even know how to drive a car. Figure that. But I was hanging with some guys, and they were stealing cars, and you know I was with them, and we went down Manassas of all places. I didn't know where we were. I was 12 years old. I was 12 years old. And we stole 3 cars. The police got behind us and we ran. And we walking through this white neighborhood and, you know, the guy I was with, he was like sort of a family member. And he was like, just walk normal. So I'm like, man, we in a white neighborhood. We the only black people.
Ain't nothing normal about that.
So the police jumped out, long story short, and that's the first time I ever did more than a week in jail. They kept me down there for 6 months. Right, transferred me to Danville. So when I came home, you know what I mean, like I was living, you know, went back to living on 58 and stuff with my aunt. And my mother, she had moved down Spotsylvania to get clean, to get off drugs. And she moved with her new boyfriend now. Mm-hmm. I never met the dude until I got out. So when I get out, you know, I meet the dude, and I'm like, dude, he ain't physically abusive, but he mentally abusive. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, he was just so depressing to be around. Like, he never smiled, never nothing. And then he used to hit my mother. You know what I mean? So me and my brother in one room, you can hear my mother screaming in the next room. So I told my brother, I said, I'm going to kill him. And I went for the gun to kill him. My brother tried to kill him. But that ain't work out because I got scared.
But you was young. So.
I was young. So I went down there to try to stay with my mother. And the first time I tried to walk back to D.C. It's all in the book. God. I walked from Spotsylvania to Prince William County on 95 with no socks.
Damn.
I was 12 years old walking up 95 trying to get, that's how driven and determined I was to get back to DC. So I finally get back to DC, and my, I went to stay with my grandmother. I started getting tired of my grandmother's rules and strictness, and I said, I'm going back to my mother. I'm going back to Virginia. I went back, and my grandmother was so hurt. She was like, you should stay here. Like, you need to be in school. You need to. And I was like, no, I'm going back. Because I miss my mother. You know what I mean? I miss my brother. And I went back, and the same thing went on. And this time, I stole his 10-speed bike. and I got on 95 again. But this time I only went to Fredericksburg. And I had it was a black guy who was on the side of the road in a Fiat and 2-seater. And I was like, can you give me a ride to DC? Now imagine you pulled over 95 and it's nighttime, somebody pull up on you on the shoulder. And he was like, nah, man, I'm about to get my kids, but here's $20. So I was like, all right. So I rode the bike to Greyhound Station. Greyhound Station was closed, so I slept under the phone booth until the next day. And then the bus came, and I went home, and I ain't never go back to Virginia. From that time on, I stayed with my grandmother, all the way up until, to high school, to after high school.
All right, so what made you decide to write the book?
Because my life I have so many powerful stories to tell of, people in church call it testimonies, what I mean, or whatever. But I feel like when I got sentenced to 10 years in D.C. for crack under the Youth Act, I used to write the judge before the sentencing, right? You know how inmates do, write the judge. I'm sorry, please. Yeah. And the judge, when she sentenced me, she said, you are an exceptional writer. She was like, you should become an author when you get out. And at the time, I was like, seriously? You just gave me 10 years. And I'm like, I ain't never coming home. But 10 years is really not a long time. And the way the Youth Act set up, you could do a day to 10 years depending on how you program. So I programmed. I went down there and completed every program they had and got an early parole. I was out of there in less than 2 years. Okay. So, the book is just a collection of experiences. Experiences in life of dealing with the poverty, the depression, the hood, the anger, the father situation, the mother situation. The only thing that's not in the book is my kids and my
all
ex-wife.
This was before them, right?
Yeah, but it's stuff in the book that's after them or during them. Okay. But I don't want my kids and my ex-wife business in my book. Okay. Like I want to protect my family. My ex-wife is still my family. Right. And I don't want what happened between us in the book. You know what I mean? So I skipped over all that. Okay. You know what I mean? My kids' names ain't even in the book. Okay. I don't even think I mentioned I had kids in the book. Okay. But because it's not about them. It's not. I don't want people to be too intrusive about, especially they need to. I'm very protective with my kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I ain't
he got girls, y'all. He got them girls.
Yeah, I got girls. So
Yeah, and then as they get older, people like, that was your father.
Yeah, they'll
read
the book, but you know they gonna read the book when the time comes. But when they read it, they're gonna have a greater appreciation for their father. Right. You know what I mean? Because it's nothing in the book that's disrespectful to their mother. They love their mother.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that I went through in that relationship is not in the book. Okay. Because I don't think it's fair for her, for people to be reading about what went on in our marriage.
Right.
I don't believe
so out of your kids, which one is more like you?
Sydney.
She got your attitude.
Yeah. The youngest daughter looked just like me.
Yeah, your twin.
Like she's bossy. She's always right. Yeah. She's a debater.
Okay.
Very smart. Athletics, plays volleyball. She's just gotten the Maryland's volleyball league.
Okay.
She's very active. So that's the one that's more like me than any of my kids. My oldest daughter, she's spitting image of her mother, so she's just.
But she's the cheerleader, right? The oldest one.
No, not anymore. She used to be.
She ain't cheering no more.
No, she that girl lazy.
She done outgrew that.
She trying to become a lifeguard, so we trying to get her strength up so she could pass the test.
Okay.
She works at a camp now. She's a camp counselor.
Oh.
So she get ready to go to college in 2 years. So she get ready to turn 16 next month. Damn. Yeah, she get ready to drive and all that.
From them little pictures, time fly.
Yeah, and then, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, I remember when they was born and they was laying on my chest every night. Me kissing them 1,000 times a day. Like, they're my babies. You know what I mean? But they good. They great. I couldn't ask, for any better kids. You know what I mean? Like, they real good kids. My son, sometimes they get a little bit out of control. But that's because I'm not, able to be around him as much as my daughters because of the situation. You know what I mean? But that situation going to change soon. You know what I mean? Because, it is what it is.
Don't you think that he noticed that you spend more time with the
girls? He know, and he's getting older.
Yeah. So
he's 6. You know what I mean? So, he gonna be hitting 12 in 6 years. So he's gonna be a teenager in 6 years. So I mean, he knows. And like I said, when he get older, I'm gonna sit him down when he get older and explain to him exactly what the situation was. He loves his father. Let me tell you something. When I go pick him up from the daycare, he don't want his mother to pick him up. He gets mad when his mom picks him up. And the daycare lady always tell me, oh my God, if I say it's his mom, he just goes crazy. If I say dad, he jumps up, dad, and runs. You know what I mean? Because he loves me like he loves the H out of me.
Yeah.
And, and she knows that. But, she's going to have to deal with the consequences of her actions.
Yeah, she's going to have to explain all that to him.
Sooner or later, she's going to have to deal with it. And I don't wish her no bad harm. Like, I don't wish her no ill will, nothing, man. Life goes on. However, I'm not going to sit back and not fight for mine. You may think you won, but, there's many battles to a war. Right. I may have lost the first battle, but, the second one is brewing. You know what I mean?
And see, that's my thing. I think a lot of our brothers need to learn to step up and fight for their kids.
Yeah, because some of us
dealing with these bitter women,
we sit back and we just take
she won't let me see him.
Right. And look, and all this happened because I left the relationship.
Right. That's bitter. That's just her being bitter.
She went down and filed a charge, assault charge on me. Because in Maryland, you don't have to get locked up. Somebody could go to the commissioner's office and file a charge on you just like that.
Damn.
And that's what she did.
That's crazy.
She went to the commissioner's office with no proof or nothing and filed a charge on me. And me being a felon could not beat it.
Right.
Just because of my criminal record. So I was in a situation where I either had to fight the charge and risk my past criminal history of getting me sentenced. They was trying to give me 10 years for nothing.
Damn, Merlin.
Yeah. So I went into court for sentencing, and the lawyer, my lawyer, she was like, the DA, they wanna offer you 10 years. I'm like, what you mean? Offer me 10 years. I'm like, hold on, how the hell? I said, how am I even in court and I wasn't even never arrested? How? You know what I mean? How am I sitting in a courtroom for sentencing and I never had the handcuffs on me? She was like, you you was never arrested? I said, no. She was like, hold on. Went back over there, and then they was like, all right, well, we probation. I said, I shouldn't even be getting this. This should be dropped. Because how somebody can go and just charge me with something without me being arrested? It don't make sense. That's not due process.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a violation of my civil rights. But at the time, I ain't know. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But you know, every dog has his day. You know what I mean? I'm just laying back, working on my life, getting my life together, and preparing myself so when I do go back, I'm going to have all the tools and stuff that I need to have to win the case. Simple as that.
Okay, so when will the book be done?
The book is done. Actually.
Finally.
It is.
When you was going to tell me?
It's done. Finally. It's just not, I have not published it yet because I think it's like 2 or 3 things that I want to add. I had called into 96.3 one time because this lady, she's an author, and she was on the radio, and I called in and got through and talked to her. And I said, man, you know, I've been writing this book for like 15 years. And I was like, I'm glad I did not put it out before now because some things had not happened yet. And it would have been premature. But at this point, it's time. Like, it's nothing, everything is complete now. You know what I mean? I proofread it, so now I just need to send it over to an editor, let them go through it. Okay. Proofread it. And then I'm a publish it myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do the ebook thing. I'm gonna publish it myself on Art Day Bello is gonna be under that.
It's gonna be
Who? So Art Day Bello.
Art Day Bello.
Yeah, Art of Bello. Yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah, fancy. But yeah, so I'm that's what I'm gonna do. Like, cause I think once it get to that point where it's gonna start taking off, then I'll be in the best position to be successful from it. You know what I mean? Cause it's hard for somebody like I'm not a known author. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's gonna be very difficult for me to create a bestseller just right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna work. However, if I create a buzz for it and on a small scale and boom, then that's what's gonna happen. I should have charged my phone up, see? I knew I was forgetting to do something. Both of my phones dead. But yeah, it's coming out. I'm hoping to have a publisher. Not a publisher, a editor soon. Okay. Cause like, you know, that's my prized possession. You know what I mean? Like that book is like very powerful, man. Like, and then in the book, I also have letters that my mom wrote. When the police shot me, and she wrote letters to God. And those letters are in the book.
So when you got shot, she was going through her clean phase?
Yeah, she had just started getting clean.
And, you know, me seeing from the outside, you know, knowing both of y'all, I see y'all relationship has got so strong. Yeah. Like, I be missing my mother. When I look at y'all, I'm like, y'all make me miss my mother.
Yeah, my mother,
I love the relationship y'all have now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she comes out to your shows. She supports your shows. You know, too many moms don't do that, especially dealing with a lot of these artists, you know. I just love how she interacts. Even when she comes to the show, she interacts. You would give her the mic, and she got something to say to everybody. And she don't mind telling her story. You know, Moms was a hustler. Moms was out there. You know, I was scared of Moms. I'm like, I don't even want to speak to Mom for shit.
Moms definitely did her dirt. You know what I mean? Like, my mother, she sold drugs.
But from back then, as her child, when you look at everything y'all been through, when you look at her now, I mean, what do you see when you look at her now? You know, like, damn, my mom made it through. Or, I mean, what are your thoughts about, damn, we've been through it all.
My mother, man, when I look at my mother, I see the strongest woman I ever seen in life. Because, man, it's like, you know, you've been around somebody your whole life, like, so you know them. Like, I know my mother. I seen my mother cry. I seen my mother laugh. You know what I mean? I seen my mother take losses. I seen her lose siblings. You know, people close to her pass away. and I see the reaction that my mother had. I also seen my mother go through her spiritual journey of finding God. You know, my mother was so skinny at one time. You know, like, yeah, my mother was a pencil because she was on drugs. Right. I mean, she was out in the streets. I mean, I remember my mother was out in the streets like a bum. You know what I mean? Dirty. You know, dirty. And my grandfather, you know, he loved his kids. He had 13 kids. And my mother's mother, my grandmother, Alice, she died when my mother was 7. So my mother didn't have a mother, you know, growing up. And my family was raised Muslim. You know, so they was the real Muslims. You know what I mean? They was, you know, they lived, you know, on 11th Street. You know, and they went to the mosque and all that, and they wore the veils and everything. So my mother came up as a Muslim, and she's a Christian now. But she went through her spiritual journey, and I seen how God cleaned her up, because before 1994, when the police shot me up, my mother had just started getting clean, and she, you know, called me and was like, I want you to come to church with me. And I was like, all right, I've been to church before. You know, like, my grandmother took me a couple times. Like, you know, my cousin, he had just got out of jail, and he was in the church, and he took me a couple times. So it wasn't like I ain't, you know, I mean, I had found the Bible in my room maybe a year or so before that, started reading it. You know, and started feeling bad and but feeling, you know, remorse for the things I was doing in the streets. So my mother, she called. She was like, come to church. And I was like, all right, I'm going to come. And I never showed up. She did this for 3 weeks. And then I said, all right, Mom, I'm going to come. So the last time she called me, she was like, you know what, I'm very disappointed in you, because, you know, you keep telling me you're going to come, and you ain't come. And that next weekend, I ain't make it to church. I was in PG Hospital in the ICU unit with 2 bullets in me. You know what I mean? So I think that was a warning from God through my mother to tell me it's time to get your life together. And I didn't want it. I fought it. And I fought it for 3 weeks until God shut me down. He shut me down and set me down so that I could be the man that I am today. You know what I mean? So I had to go through all that hard struggle and journey, and tubes in my side, right? I still got scar tissue and bullet fragments. They hurt every day. Like, I'm in some type of discomfort or pain every day of my life now. And it's just a reminder.
And with your job, you in a little small holes and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I learned how to, like, right now, my side hurting like shit. right now. I'm used to it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to it now. Like, it's just a reminder. It's a constant reminder every day of what I don't want to go back to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go back to that mentality. I don't want to go back to that life. You know what I mean? And they can say you sold out, you'll sell out. You know what? I sell out for life. You know what I mean? Y'all selling out for death. I'm trying to sell out for life, not death. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, it's just crazy like that. But I appreciate my mother. Like, I told my mother, I said, man, my mother done went to college. She done got a degree. She back in college, you know what I mean? Trying to get her master's. You know, like, or a PhD, something she's trying to get. But she's an example. Like, I mean, she came from one of the most notorious drug markets in D.C., 6 and S. And that's where I lived. That's where I was raised. I couldn't walk through the alley without hearing gunshots or seeing needles on the ground. They used to call it BAM.
And all that.
You know, the works. They used to call it the works. Or BAM. You know, needles scattered everywhere. Now the whole neighborhood is gentrified. You know what I mean? So it's all luxury buildings around it now. But, you know, it's just something, you know, I love my mother, and she's my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she knew she had some talent in her son a long time ago. She saw that, because I was always an A student in school. I was hard-headed, but I was smart.
So you know what I mean? Bad as hell, but
I was bad as hell, but I was in spelling bees.
He's suspended this week, but you know we need him back for the spelling bee next week.
I was in the glee club. I told my daughters the other day, I said, I'm in the glee club. I tap dance. I played.
What?
I used to tap dance. I played the violin. And I played the little drummer boy in the plays. I was in plays. I was always in some art.
We would never think that of you.
Listen, when I was in the feds, when I called a gun charge on a humble, back in 2012, and that shouldn't even have been. That shouldn't even have happened. But you know, it wasn't. I wasn't running around with no gun. You know what I mean? It's a strange situation, but I ended up having to do a year. I lost everything. I lost my job. I lost my car. All that. More than anything, time away from my kids was what really killed me. But, you know, during that time, I was like, you know what? I got to do something while I'm in here. So I started writing a play. And me and the inmates, we used to have these little functions, you know, once a month. We did the play. Like, I produced the play, we acted the play out. So
you've been putting on shows.
I was putting on shows in the feds. And look, I'm telling you, after that, like, I probably was one of the most popular guys at the prison. Because every time somebody see me, hey, man, when y'all doing that play again, man? I like that. You know what I mean? Because these guys ain't got no hope, a lot of them. Right. But I knew I was going home. You know what I mean? I knew I was going home. Like, some of them guys ain't coming home. Or at least ain't coming home for a few years. So I was like, man, why not try to, you know, brighten their day or, you know, do something to take their mind off, right, you know, off of what we got to deal with in this prison. Because it's hard. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, though, man. I love what I do, and I'm trying to get better at doing what I'm doing. But shameless plug, July 22nd, we got the MAS show, Music, Art, Style. That's an acronym, but MAS means more in Spanish. And I just cannot go back to the old format of shows that I used to do because, one, it was too much of a headache.
All right, y'all. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and find out more about the MAS.
Yes. I don't know what's going on with my phones. I wish I just had one.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Around with 2 bullets in me. You know you gotta go through life right. DC police. I've been behind the wall. Sometimes you make it out wounded. I've been homeless, nigga. Yeah, been through it all. It was 94. Was a wild youngin'. I was robbing everything. No smiles, nothing. No sunlight and no future plans. I was out here, a walking dead man. Look at my face in the mirror, a product of errors. Embarrassed, grew up in poverty, they ain't here, so I grabbed a gun and rebelled just like a terrorist on a suicide mission. Was wishing for better parents, for cracking the dope and boat. Demonic interference, I was left to my grandparents. Mr. Brown, Mr. Jimmy, and Emma Shannon. My father doing life, though he didn't plan. But regardless, couldn't save me from all the damage. So I'm acting out of anger, man, I couldn't manage. I'm getting in trouble and getting locked up. I was crying for help, but who could I trust? The teacher used to tell me I wouldn't amount to much. I kept it inside, though my soul was crushed. And if you look in my eyes, you won't see that much. Cause I learned how to hide and keep my feelings tough. Yeah. They just wanna see me die. They just wanna see me cry. They don't know I will survive because I'm wounded alive. They just wanna see me die. They just wanna see me cry. They don't know I will survive because I'm wounded alive. 16, I went through a dramatic change. All because I was robbing here for a piece of change. I caught 2 bullets, never be the same. Did some years in the prison, had to accept change. Still young and immature, how could I stand? I was rebelling cause I failed to make my own plan. Big crimes for times with my own hand. But I learned fast how to be a grown man. It's real hard when your money real low. Hungry all the time, didn't ask to be poor. I was born that way. Used to wonder what I'm here for. Wandering these streets, trying to eat, wasn't prepared for the pain and the hurt. Nobody cared for me, I felt left out. Nobody there for me. My grandma used to say she was scared for me.
I feel so much anger, but I'm here, homie. Let's go.
They just wanna see me die. They just wanna see me cry. They don't know I will survive, because I'm wounded alive. They just wanna see me die. They just wanna see me cry. They don't know I will survive, because I'm wounded alive. Been put down, been talked about, been laughed at, disregarded, left in doubt. But I still stand, struggle on. Never ran, never backed down, stay strong. My vision was a mission, really. No matter how long, no matter how strong the tone. So I dialed up the strength, the inner man. Had to grow, no matter the length. And so I'm still here surviving. Had to do some diving. There's various haters on the surface, they conniving to the preacher who want my tithe. And no, they don't care. I made it through my past, nigga, I'm still standing here. Wounded alive, blood-stained clothes. God washed me clean from a blood-stained soul. Forgive all my sins, things I couldn't control. Use me as a vessel, though I know I'm hard to mold. They just wanna see me die. They just wanna see me cry. They don't know I will survive, because I'm wounded alive. They just wanna see me die. They just wanna see me cry. They don't know I will survive, because I'm wounded alive.
Should've told it to the world, nigga. Yeah. Fake ass gangsters. Soon they go to court, they be snitching and shit. Video the shit on they motherfucking phone and shit. What type of thug is you? Got all that shit on your phone. Soon the fucking judge see that shit, nigga, it's over. Let's talk to him.
Hey, look, I don't need no gun, I don't need no bullets. Most these rappers talking about shit they never bullet. Them 30s and them 40s,
Legs in them gates.
would've got your ass whooped if it was back in the day when my niggas grew up fighting, but we lived another day. Now it's kill a nigga kill over what somebody say, and them bitches out here talking, they always in the way. They setting niggas up and bitches still don't get paid. I guess $10 worth of nigga lying in the grave. It's America, supposed to be the home of the brave, but these cowards just some house niggas. I just like some slaves, but I'ma run the boss and game over books made. Make these niggas bump, get these rappers out my way while the rain
man G. Y'all takes all types of drugs, dog. Y'all ain't bomb like me. Youngin' believe in hype, dog. You ain't calm like me. Little youngin' around the way, he think he dead like me. Half-ounce bottles of water to the head like me. Bust off your lid, leave enemies dead like me. Demon chasing, they said the fam are red like me. But hey, yeah, I got a different picture. And the battle's economic, so we getting richer. Conversations about paper young, I'm getting with you. Respect me in this game, little nigga. Call me Mr. Big Lil. I do my thing with big skill. We from the 30th district where they kill at will. Youngers got vicious blazing, plus they kill that steel. Put that paper on the line and we can seal that deal.
Tears be flowing. When they hit that sale, it used to be a gold, but now these niggas tell. Video the crime, got the footage on they cell. Then the judge take a look and send they stupid ass to jail. Tears be flowing. When they hit that sale, it used to be a gold, but now these niggas tell. Video the crime, got the footage on they cell. Then the judge take a look and send they stupid ass to jail.
What you like about taking the right route? Getting presidents out the White House. Wearing Obama, pulling your 9 out. That's when the game changed, time out. Y'all niggas gangster, let me find out. Got that white girl, Amy Winehouse. Crabs in the burrow, I had to climb out.
Crabs in the burrow, I had to climb out.
You only successful as the company you keep. Gotta check the schedule when niggas say they run the streets. And the shit talking, especially on the cheek. When you been to war, the veteran come to speak. The questions tend to be exceptional, don't you think? Stepping on the brink, the ass niggas a stink. Ain't no reason to bring it back. Just stay facts, take a nap, all roads blocked. Ain't no wait for that. Big moves on the regular, none of these rappers competitors. When you elevate, you gotta step it up. Too small in my scope, that's molecular. I'm out of this world. ETC, etc., etc. And extra buzz, honeys, I call them bees. Sorry, grandma, blame society. Names notoriety, but who hires me? Be a piss walker from the shit talker. You can die and read your biography. You ain't never have to struggle, nigga. But roger that, you can't copy me. New bread, spoon fed, just cuddle, niggas. I'm watching me, don't make me laugh. I got a crazy past, but still blazing track. Doubt to fake your last, no matter where you're at. It's a rap, sucker, you won't be back, brother.
Tears be flowing. When they hit that sale, it used to be a gold, but now these niggas tell. Video the crime, got the footage on they cell. Then the judge take a look and send they stupid ass to jail. Tears be flowing. When they hit that sale, it used to be a gold, but now these niggas tell. Video the crime, got the footage on they cell. Then the judge take a look and send they stupid ass to jail. Tears be flowing.
You know the guy?
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Pandora Love, and you're now tuned into the Pandora Word Box Show. And we're in here interviewing the one and only 20 Bello.
Yes, indeed. I am here.
He's stupid. All right, so when we left off, we was talking about his new art show. So again, tell the people about it.
Well, it's called Moss. You know, some people think I'm talking about church, like mass, going to mass or mass, whatever they call it. But no, it means music, art, style. And for many years, I did shows like primarily on the hip hop side with just rappers and rappers and rappers and rappers and rappers and more rappers and more rappers. And
right.
Ain't got time for that no more. So I was like, I always wanted, like, I remember when I used to do a yearly event called the Crank Fest. Mm-hmm. Before all these Crank Fests you see now, mine was the original Crank Fest. This was in the early 2000s. And I used to have this event outside once a year. The first one was actually at the Market Lounge many years ago. But then I had started having it at pool houses, like pool parties, once a year. And I was like, at that show, it was going more towards the vision I had for shows, because I had a projector, I had like graphics flashing behind the artists, their names. And I know a guy named Briar Rabbit. He's an animator. You know what I mean? So he does animation and stuff like that. He's into the comic world real heavy. So I had him on my team, and he was making these crazy animated graphics of the artists while they was performing, and they animations was going behind them. And I was like, you know what, this is what I'm trying to create now. Matter of fact, I need to call Brian because I need him to do me an animation of Moss.
I would love to see that.
And so I said, what I wanted to do, what I always wanted to do in the show is to have different aspects of art. Like I wanted the visual side of arts, I wanted the performance side of art.
Okay.
So I wanted music, I wanted dance, I wanted visual arts, painting, you know, just everything that has to do with art. Like yesterday I met a young man that know how to dance at the barber shop.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You know, my shout out my barber, man, DC Barber Love. You know, he's exceptional, 14th Street Northwest. But this show on the 22nd is the first time that I'm actually having every aspect of what I wanted to have involved in one show. So I have 2 live bands, the Phoenix Amore Band, shout out Phoenix, and then I have the Experience Band, and then I have a poet, softly spoken goddess, and I have J Soul, and then I have 53rd Damo. Right, so Damo gonna perform. So I got 2 hip hop artists, 2 bands, and 1 poet. Okay. And I also have paint. So we're gonna paint like the Paint and Sips, except it's called Paint and Groove. Okay. So
what we drinking?
You get a drink ticket. You go get your own, whatever you want. Okay. Or whatever the drink ticket and go towards whatever the price of whatever you want, if you want to upgrade or whatever. But and you know the event is Moss at Tropicali at 2001 14th Street Northwest. The event page is blowing up right now. Like this is the first time I did an event that got this much response online. You know what I mean? Okay. Like I think in 2 days, 60 tickets gone. In 2 days, and that's just all for me. That's not even off of the people that the band's going to bring, or the artist is going to bring, or the general public that just pop up because it's a free event. However, I am charging for paint because I ain't gonna be giving y'all everything for free.
Gotta pay for them bowls.
Yeah, so if you want to paint, you could go on the Eventbrite page, Moss. That's MAS. Search Moss MAS. You could go on that page and you can sign up. You can get your free tickets, or you could pay $25 for the paint, and that comes with a drink ticket. That's dirt cheap. Okay, or you can get the $40 VIP where you get food, drink ticket, and paint. You know, it's up to you. Or you could just come in for free. But you still have the option before we get started painting to upgrade from a free to the paint at the door. So if you get there and like the vibe and want to try out the painting, then you can pay $25 at the door and you'll get your drink ticket, and then you can paint. And I'm the instructor, so you're getting instructed by me, which is better.
You gonna do some tennis shoes or something?
Actually, I plan to give away a pair of custom shoes.
What size?
I ain't decided on that yet. What size should they be?
Stop playing, bro. Stop
no,
playing.
But my idea was to do because I actually did some custom shoes on stage one time, but it wasn't in this type of environment I'm trying to create now. Right. So I'm actually thinking of doing that live. Okay. Because I don't want to be running around doing 100 different things, because I'm still gonna have to teach the paint class. Right. And but either I'm going to design the shoes before I get there, or I'll just throw some paint on them while I'm there. I'm not gonna do too much with them. You know what I mean? Right. And then I'm gonna give them away, but they only going away. They're only gonna be given away to the paint or VIP guests. They if you're getting in free, you're not getting no shoes. I'm sorry.
All right, and who's catering?
Intense Flavors. Shout out Daynell. Shout out Daynell. Please bring my jerk chicken.
My wings, boy.
I need my jerk chicken.
That's a shame. Also, everybody talk about his wings.
I gotta let everybody know too that the free admission is just that. It's free admission. It doesn't come with any food, drink, or anything. You just come and dance. Okay. If you want to eat, you gotta you gotta get the food tickets, and it's just that simple. Yeah. I want people to be able to come in without having to pay. Okay. Right, but if they want to upgrade, then they can do that. That's an option, but you don't have to pay coming through the door.
Okay, so if somebody does a specific art and want to get on your show or submit to get on your show, what do they need to do?
Mas is more. That's MASIS more DMV on IG. You got to DM me because, like I said, I do this show once a month, and it's very exclusive. So I don't want just anybody on my stage. This is not a rap show. This is not a showcase. This is an event. This is not, an open mic. This is not 30 people getting up there rapping. I'm not knocking it because that's what I used to do. It's just not what I want to do anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is an exclusive event that you can bring your date to, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband. You come and have a nice, good time without no drama, without no BS. This is next level type stuff. So if you want to get on, you got to be on your A game. You know what I mean? You can't be over here talking about rapping, trap, and all this, and you're not getting on that stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to keep it on a very political level. You know what I mean? Where people can have a great time and not get
it's the grown is sexy,
banged.
right?
Yeah, period. That's where it's at now.
But ask a question: do you think your change with the way you're doing your shows, as far as from the hip hop over to the Moss, is that some of the effects from your loss of your friend Bishop Twan?
Yeah, I think that got a lot to do with it, because I think when Twan left, man, I kind of lost the motivation for that. You know what I mean? Twan was a very busy person, and he dealt with a lot of different rappers and mentalities and characters and stuff, and I'm not ever gonna be able to fill Twan's shoes on that hosting level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he was DMV's #1 hip hop host.
Yes.
And his loss really hit me hard. You know what I mean? Like, because I was going through so much that year, man, and then on top of that, and I mean, it was just a year I don't want to return to ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was, Lil, and then Twan, and then just a whole bunch of craziness going on. And so and then I always wanted to do a next level type of show. Like, people don't understand how hard it is dealing with rappers, man.
They don't.
And I'm not trying to shoot any rapper down, man, but dealing with, doing a show and you got 18 people performing, it's always going to be a headache. And the only reason why, and I'm going to give you some insight on the side of the promoters, the only reason why is that many people rapping is because of, that's the only way we can get people to come to the event. Right. Because the rappers ain't really going to bring a whole lot of people. So we got to put more people on the show and hope that they bring at least 2 or 3 or 4 people.
Right. And a lot of them don't bring no damn body.
And this is big for me because this show only have 4 artists. Right. 2 artists and 2 bands. Yes. And guess what? You're not going to be seeing a rapper going up there back to back, and I guarantee you this place going to be packed.
Well, the one I attended last month, I loved it.
That was the basic one.
Yeah, that's just
what I mean?
Was just a basic show without everything that he's offering for this
right,
new show.
Right.
But I mean, I loved it.
Yeah,
Trina got up there and did her thing. That was exciting just to see that.
And that one was the second one. The first one was better than the second one. See, the second one, what happened was I had, a couple of cancellations last minute for the artists. And that's why I said, whoever get on my show has to be very prompt with things because, it's only for artists. And I'm not selling those slots. You know what I mean? So I care about who gets on the stage.
Right.
You just can't. I'm not selling you no slots. You ain't got to sell no tickets. You know what I mean? All you have to do is, put the event on your IG page, promote yourself, send people to the Eventbrite page to get the free tickets, and that's all you got to do. And then come and, give a great show.
Right.
So,
So basically, the 2 artists that you do have on here, it's easy for them because, hey, come see me perform. It's free.
Right. It's free.
You ain't trying to sell a ticket.
The key word is free.
Come see me. I'm free.
It's free. See, I'm not trying to, in the past, it was about the money, trying to make a buck. You know what I mean? And that's good sometimes. Well, all the time it's good to make it. But this ain't about that. This is about creating a vibe, creating an event that I can take to a whole nother level beyond Tropicalia.
Okay, so a person that does poetry that's trying to get used to being on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because some people write, but they haven't had that stage
Mm-hmm.
appearance yet. You know, would this be something for them to begin to get used to the stage?
Yeah, I mean, poetry wise, yeah, like I'm very lenient when it comes to the poets, because I mean, like I had a poet who wasn't really used to it, but they did a good job.
Right.
And plus, you know what I mean, like it's I don't want the poets to feel like they under a whole lot of pressure like the artists. See, the artists, they gotta bring their game. They gotta be experienced on stage. I'm not putting somebody who hasn't been experienced on stage or experienced in that music, you know what I mean, on stage like that. Like if you just starting out, this not the show for you. Like I want seasoned people. Like I got 2 bands that know what they doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to turn my crowd off because somebody's on stage
and
stinking
was
it
I
up.
or was I not blind when I seen who on the drums? Who was that on the drums?
Oh yeah. Lil Mickey was on the drums.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Phoenix band. And hopefully he'll be back on the 22nd. I don't know, because she rotates. Yeah, she rotates musicians. So I mean, but it's gonna be a good show, man. Like I'm just like shocked that the event page is doing as well as it's doing. You know what I mean? Like, and I think people really want to come out and have a good time, and that's what it's about. Like, it's just art. So I'm gonna try my best to make sure that everybody gets that experience from the time they walk through the door to the time they leave. And then on top of that, it's a day party. It's at 4 o'clock. And it's on a Sunday. So it's over at 9:30. Before 10, and
so it's a couple. You can actually do a couples thing. You and the wife after church or whatever. Come on out, paint, and enjoy the music.
You want to enjoy the music. You want to come out and have a good time. You want to come out and relax out the church or out the whatever you do. And then when you get home, it still be early enough for you to get some rest, get ready for work or whatever. Right. You ain't getting home at 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And that's one of the reasons why I switched it from Wednesdays.
Okay.
Because Wednesdays, man, it's a hard day to promote.
Hump day.
It's a hard day to promote a show on a Wednesday night when people gotta get up on Thursday morning. And then on top of that, you don't get out of the place until like 12, 1 o'clock. Right. You don't get home at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So your numbers are not gonna do as well as doing a show in the daytime. Right. Where people can get there and be like, all right, I stayed. But I'm telling you, it's definitely gonna be. It's gonna be set up a lot different. I'm gonna have tables and chairs.
Okay, that's what you meant by cabaret style.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna have tables and chairs, cabaret style. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be set up cabaret style, like the Scarface show was. You know what I mean? So Scarface show, we had chairs and tables, whatever.
So you're not doing that no more. Who gonna bring him back?
Who, Scarface?
Yeah.
Now, see, I would do shows like that. You know what I mean? I'm not doing the local stuff no more. Okay. Yeah, I'm not doing the local stuff no more. I'm done with that. They can have that. You know what I mean?
Fun that night. Did anybody record it?
What, the Scarface?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's videos all over the place for that. I got one.
Okay.
But like my brother Den, he does shows like that, man. I support him. I just went to his show last Saturday. He had that on 8th Street.
You know shout out to Den.
Yeah, that's my brother. Thing. Like, I'm not knocking nobody that does that, but my time with that is done. You know what I mean? Bello gotta go to another level now. Like, I can't stay in that position. I gotta keep moving. Whoever wants to stay in that position, they want to sell slots. They want to, man, my kudos to you. Much love to you.
Right.
At some point, you're gonna get to the point where I'm at.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to catch up because I'm about to shoot up. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do art galleries, and I went to Phoenix. Took me to an art show the other day, man. They had the DJ, the art on the wall. They were selling the art. I want to do stuff like that. I want to paint pictures and put on the wall, sell it for $100.
And you
know what I mean? I want to do that. I want to have.
Okay, so he is an artiste.
Yeah.
He can get that canvas and paint. Okay.
Yeah, and I want to create pieces and sell them online. I want to create pieces and have art shows with music and live band. That's the type of stuff I'm on. I'm not on that. I'm not on that trap rap every other song stuff no more. I'm on that grown up stuff now. I want people who want something out of life to come to my events. Right. I want to attract a certain crowd. You know what I mean? And I ain't barring nobody, judging nobody, but this event is for the intellectual. This event is for the people who love art.
Right.
No, this event ain't for the twerkers. And, I ain't putting the twerkers down, but this event ain't for that. This event ain't for that. This event ain't on that level. This event is on an artistic level to the point where, you're gonna have I want you to have an art experience. Okay. You know what I mean? So I'm still at the drawing board. You know what I mean? I'm still, brainstorming, trying to figure out what else I can add to this particular show on the 22nd to make it more artsy. You know what I mean? I was thinking of getting a big, giant canvas and have everybody take a brush and paint.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like just something to do. But we'll see. It's gonna be a couple of other things, that I'm gonna add to it. But it's gonna be a good one, man. I really believe that. You know what I mean?
Right. So you know about the event. So now tell us your movement far as working, going over to the youth center, working with the kids. How did that come about?
Well, actually, my friend, Miss McLucas, she is a Duke Ellington alumni.
Okay.
And I met her back in, in high school in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So, we kept in contact over the years or whatever. She's on my Facebook page, and she's a teacher for DC Public Schools. Okay. So she had asked me last year, would I come and talk to the kids? And I was like, yeah, sure. That's what I want to do anyway. Like, God sent them my way. Right. And so last year I went over there and talked to the kids. And I went twice. And then I went over to see to the Mount Olive youth services, and for another person that I know. Okay. And then so this year, she was like, we want you to be the keynote speaker for their graduation ceremony and stuff, and for the adult graduation and the youth graduation. So I was like, sure. You know what I mean? So I went over there, and then, the principal, Miss Lee, they really took a liking to me, and they really liked my message. So they offered me, opportunity to go and teach a hip hop class. What? So just last week, I went over to the jail, the CTF, to teach the kids a hip hop class. Now you're talking 20 juveniles in a cell block.
They think they know everything about
hip hop. They thought they did, but by the end of the class, they was like, oh. But it was good. Like, being in that type of environment, you have to earn their respect. Okay. Right? You can't just go in there woofing at them young kids, because they already messed up in their head. Right. They already locked up. You know what I mean? So I go in there and I talk to them with love. You know what I mean? And at the end, man, we all had a good time. We had a cipher. At first, you know how they didn't want to listen. Yeah. But by the end, I gained control of it. I taught them about the origin of hip hop, the 5 elements of hip hop. I taught them about the psychological effects of music, and why music is so powerful. I taught them about the record deals, the 360 deals, and the touring money, the royalties.
You gave them the whole school.
I taught them about beats per minute, BPM. I taught them about cadence. I taught them about delivery. Writing bars, counting bars, writing. So I gave them a homework assignment. I said, each one of y'all have to write your own song. And when I come back, you're going to have to spit that song to me. But they said, when we going to record? When we going to record? I said, man, listen, you in jail, bro. If I could bring some recording equipment in here, I would. But I don't think the jail's going to allow that. So, we got to talk to the tech guy and see what's going on. But yeah, it's good, man. It's a part of my purpose. You know what I mean? Like, my purpose is to share what I've been through. And that's what Wounded Alive is about. I was wounded by so many things in my life. I was hit so many times, I was stabbed so many times. Not literally. I'm talking about by things in life. Right. I was knocked over so many times. I was stomped out so many times. I was knocked out so many times. But I still got up, and I'm still living. So that's what basically, and Wounded Alive, you can follow that. Wounded, just like I said it, alive, all one word. At Wounded Alive on IG, at 20 Bello on IG, and follow what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, if you got kids out there that you need somebody to come and talk to them. Now, I can't mentor your child every day. That's unrealistic for me because of my obligations to my kids and also obligations to, things that I'm involved in. I can't, pay, attention to someone's child daily. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. However, I would come and talk to your child. I would have a conversation with your child, and I would check up on them every now and again. You know what I mean? Like if there's a school out there that need someone that been from the streets, someone that's been shot up, someone that's been in prison, someone that's been through all that, and you want somebody to come out and talk to your kids, I can come talk to your kids. Because there's a lot of guys out here doing motivational speaking, and be honest with you, they ain't never been through nothing, and they really ain't that good at it.
Ask a question. When you went over to the youth center, have you seen that one little dude that's like, that was me back then?
Yeah. Actually, the class clown one.
Oh, okay.
Even though I wasn't a class clown, but I know that he's acting out to cover his insecurity. You know what I mean? So, and I'm looking at these kids and I'm like, man. And it's funny because when you walk in there, that smell stays there. And it's the same smell that when I was there. You know what I mean? So as soon as you walk in and you smell that smell, you're like, oh, I remember this smell. And then you look and you see how these juveniles are being contained in one area all day long. They got windows, but right outside their window is the graveyard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they just enclosed in a space.
That's like
and
a mini
like,
DC jail.
It is.
DC jail right out the window is the graveyard.
It's actually CTF. CTF is actually, I guess I can say more livable than DC jail. Because DC jail, man, that joint screwed up.
Yeah. I read a thing.
But at least CTF is a lot cleaner. It's a lot cleaner. And then people don't know they building a complex next to the jail. Right now. So you know what's about to happen. DC is federal. So that means that when they shut that jail down, matter of fact, they getting ready to ship all the juveniles out to Oak Hill now.
Oak Hill still exists?
They just redid a section. It's a school. So they're gonna be living residents. Well, incarcerated. That's what I call it. You call it whatever you want to call it.
It's the fact is you're
you call it youth services. I call it detention center because that's what it is.
Right.
So they get ready to send the kids out to that, and then the jail. Once they do that, the jail gone. And I doubt if they build another jail in DC. Right. So what's going to happen is when you get locked up, they're going to probably transport you down Central Cell Block or some holding facility in Virginia or somewhere, BOP, and you're going to get shipped all across the United States. That's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And that's what happened in 1998 because I had just came home from Lawton before Lawton closed. And when Lawton closed, all the inmates went throughout the United States through the Bureau of Prisons because the federal government took over the prison system in D.C. So youngsters don't even understand when you get locked up, you're a federal inmate now in D.C. You're not a state inmate.
You're federal.
You're federal. You get a federal ID. I got a D.C. number and a Fed number. You know what I mean? But that's the way the system is designed. But I'm going to continue to keep going over there and talking to these kids as much as possible. Now, see, she want to get in the interview. Tell them something. Look, she's so pretty. Yeah. You want to talk in the interview. You talking about, hold on, you forgetting something. What I'm forgetting? Yeah, but I just got to do what I got to do for the kids, man. Like, I feel like it's my obligation. I'm obligated to do that. Like, people don't understand when God give you a talent or give you something or bring you through something, it's not for you to keep it to yourself. You know what I mean? It's for you to share it. Because there are other people that's going through things. There's other people that, that needs to understand that you can make it through stuff.
Right.
And if you don't tell them, how they gonna know? There's somebody going through the same thing you done been through. There's somebody that been homeless before. There's somebody that behind on bills before. There's somebody that's been locked up before or been on drugs before, and they made it out. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
So if there was one thing that somebody could help you with, as far as getting for the kids in the youth center, what would it be?
Man, I'm like this. Like, the thing is, like, this is new to me too. Okay. So I'm kind of like figuring out what's allowed and what's not allowed. Okay. Because, you know, every time I go there, I gotta go through security screening and all that stuff. So I'm right now going, you know, talking to the teachers about what's allowed or what can I bring in, what can't I bring in. You know what I mean? Okay. But I think even more importantly, if anybody want to do anything, I would say to talk to the kids in your neighborhood to keep them from going to that jail. Okay. Start there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That would be the best help, because then we can keep these young kids. We're not going to be able to keep them all out of jail because their mentality screwed up. Right. And then we fail the kids. Like, we always blame the kids for what they did, but we don't understand the things that they going through in life. We don't understand that some of them don't have a mother or father. We don't understand that some of them gotta get out here and survive and taking care of their brothers and sisters. They gotta get, and they young kids, they should not have to be doing it. They should have a house, a home, and 3 meals a day provided for them, and clothes and shoes provided for them. And some of them, they gotta get out here and take and steal because they don't have it. And that's what I had to do when I was coming up, because I didn't have it. You know what I mean? I was plenty of days I went hungry. You know, there's plenty of days I plotted to rob somebody just to get something to eat. I wasn't trying to rob nobody to go buy some Nikes. You know what I mean? I was robbing to eat. Right. You know, so we failed in our kids because what we do is we point the finger and we blame. And we don't understand that they suffer. They have feelings too. They get depressed too. They go through hurt and pain just like an adult, you know, and children should not be exposed to that kind of, you know, kind of stuff, to things or mental things that can, you know, just screw their whole life up. Right. Because I grew up angry, you know what I mean? Like, I was angry at life from a child. I was angry at my mother. I was angry because she was shooting up drugs. You know what I mean? I was angry because my father wasn't there. I was angry because I didn't have, you know, the good clothes or the good shoes. Right. You know, I was angry that I had to live with my grandmother. You know what I mean? I was angry that I was going from house to house at some point. I was just angry. You know what I mean? I was angry at life. And so these kids are angry at their circumstances.
Okay, so coming up, all you've been through, and you say you was angry, but when that first daughter came out, did it soften you any?
Well,
or did it just make you even more like?
Well, I actually had that experience back in '94, because my girlfriend at the time was pregnant. Okay. And when I got shot by the police and I was in Upper Marlboro, my mother came to see me, and she came with her, and my mother told me, "You about to be a father." That changed my life right then and there. Okay. I mean, you know, long story short, ultimately turned out not to be mine, but that kept me out of trouble when I was locked up, because I was like, damn, I'm about to have my first child. I'm about to have a son. I ain't gonna get in no trouble when I'm in prison, so I ain't getting no write-ups or nothing. Like, I was I was a model prisoner because I wanted to get home to my son. I felt like, damn, I'm not gonna be like my father. Like, I gotta get home. So I did everything I could possibly do to get home. So that really helped me. It didn't hurt me. It helped me. But then I found out, you know, after coming home, you know, I found out that he wasn't mine. You know what I mean? And he's like, what, like, damn near, what, 25 now? Something like that. Yeah, he about 25, 24, 25. He got his own kids now. Okay. And me and his mother still, you know, we tight. Like, we friends. You know what I mean? Like, that's my buddy. She comes to my shows. Oh. Okay. Yeah, she comes to my shows. Like, you know, we family for real. Like, I've known her since I was 17. And, you know, we went through our little things when we was together as boyfriend and girlfriend briefly. you know,
but that's her name. Her one mistake, in somewhat helped save your life.
It saved my life. You know what I mean? Like, and I think about it that way, you know, because she didn't know. I mean, she knew what she was doing, but she, right, you know what I mean? Right. But I think she wanted it to be mine. You know what I mean? And but we were young. You know what I mean? We were 17, 16, 17. You know what I mean? So we ain't know nothing about nothing in life for real.
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
We ain't know nothing.
We thought we knew everything, but we ain't know nothing.
Thing
we ain't know anything, man. So, you know, you know, now she just lost her fiance. You know, he died from pneumonia just out of the blue. You know what I mean? So she going through a hard time right now, you know, and you know, I'm always going to be there for my family and my friends, you know. Right. But, you know, I had that experience briefly. But when I got that real experience with my daughters, man, but I was so protective of my girls. Like, and I still am. Like, that's my life right there.
They are true daddy girls.
That's my life. Yeah, that's my life, man. You know, I get on them all the time. I say, man, y'all don't even call. Because, you know, I don't live with them because, you know, we divorced. But I was like, you know what, y'all don't even call your father. Y'all don't call me and say hi. Only time y'all call me is when y'all want something. No, daddy. So the next day I'm getting calls. Hi, daddy. Oh, now y'all want to call me. What you want? You know what I mean? But I do anything for my kids, man. They both play piano. My youngest daughter, she plays clarinet and piano. My oldest daughter plays piano. They go to piano. They have lived a blessed life. They've been in private school their entire life, except for the last 2 years. You know, they've been involved in so many different activities, from dance to gymnastics to swimming they have lived a life that I wish I could have lived as a child.
But that was your job, to make sure they lived the life that you
wanted. And you know, their mother does a fantastic job of raising, you know.
So you think you and her co-parenting is at 100?
Oh, we ain't got no problems with co-parenting. I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I go over there, I walk in there just like it's my house. You talking about? I ain't gonna put their business out there. Let's just say they live nice. Mm-hmm. You know, I walk in there just like it's mine. You know, some need to be fixed. Who they call? Daddy. Right? Daddy go over there and fix it. And you know, you could be in a relationship with somebody. And they may not understand that, but that's just the way it is, and it's not going to change.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. It's not going to change as long as
it's about the kids.
It's about the kids, and then also it's about the respect that I have for their mother.
Right.
Because she ain't never put me on child support, because she know that I'm a great father, and I know.
And it could be she just don't want no any ass nigga around her kids. Can you call your father, ask him to come fix this? Or,
exactly. No, she don't play that. No man comes around my kids at all. And we've been divorced 2 years. So, but if a man comes around, you know, that's fine with me. I have no problem with that as long as I know that my kids and her is going to be respected.
But she's just protective.
Boom. She just protective. And then I don't think she you know, wants to be in a relationship with anybody anyway. I think she's fine and happy like Oprah. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, that's cool. But you know, I'll do anything for my.
That's
for
good.
My,
I love the fact that y'all co-parenting.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. You can do
out
it
because they being stubborn and don't want to co-parent.
Yeah, and then you go to court and they tell them, they trying to give you what's in the best interest of the child. And I'm like, so you telling me the best interest of my son is that he can't spend a night with me?
Crazy.
When you have no grounds. You know,
except the fact that you're a felon.
Except the fact that I don't want to be with you. Like, come on, man.
That's crazy.
You know, but it's all good. Like, I really don't, you know, that stuff you learn, you move on, man. You move on, you learn, you move on.
And I see you do a live, like on your lives, you do the inspirational things, like to the guys, like you was telling them, you saying that you can't get a job, you can't do this, and you tell them you are straight up hard felon in the position that you're working. So they keep saying they can't. Why not? Why they can't?
Because a lot of them, one, they give up too easy. You know what I mean? They get denied one time or two times and they give up. You cannot give up. You got to stand up. Like, you can get denied 10 times. You still have to keep going. And I understand how hard it is coming out. But like I told the young kids at the jail, I said, listen, man, y'all got to understand that it starts here in this cell. Your mentality has to start changing here. Don't wait. Don't say, oh, when I get home, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You got to start preparing yourself to do that now. So when you get home, you'll already be mentally ready for the challenges. You'll be mentally ready to face, people rejecting you. You know what I mean? Like I told you about the apartment situation. I can afford to live in D.C. I can afford to live in a nice apartment, but I keep getting denied because I'm a felon. It ain't even about the credit.
Right.
It's about the fact that I got felonies on my, because they think I'm going to come into their community and harm people or, drop their property value down. And they don't even know that I would be the one that would help you in the community probably before anybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I work in safety. Why would I come to your community and make it unsafe? My job all day long is to ensure safety. You know what I mean? Right. So, but I'm not worried about that because, my God is bigger than that. Right. And he can make anything happen or anything possible for me. No man can shut the door on what God is opening. No man. So if God takes over that situation and say this is your apartment right here until you get your house, then that's what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? And that's how it's gonna go.
All right. So I see that you're doing so much out there. So are you still doing the OSHA classes? Yeah,
I'm still. Well, I do the OSHA training for, the consulting company that I'm with right now. Okay. But I'm about to set up my own classes. But see, here's the thing about this area, man. It's a lot of guys that work in construction, but they don't see the opportunity or the benefit. And I tell guys, especially the black guys on site, I tell them, listen, go out and get trained. Go out and increase your knowledge because it'll get you in a better position. You know what I mean? When I started out safety, I was making an X amount of dollars and I doubled that because I went out and applied myself. I went out and I studied. I went out and got my CHST. I went out and became a certified CPR AED instructor. I went out and became an electrical trainer, an NFPA 70E trainer. I became a lift truck trainer. You know what I mean? I became every aspect of safety. I went and learned. So now when I walk on these sites, I know what's right and what shouldn't be.
Right.
And I know. But when I first started in construction safety, I didn't know all that stuff. And I felt like, damn, I'm in this job and I don't really know. So I'm picking up. It comes from experience. But now I'm on top of my game. You know what I mean?
It's funny how you posted the other day. When you got there, they thought you was a laborer. Yeah. And found out you was the man.
Yeah, because they don't see black bosses on construction site that much. They definitely don't see black safety bosses on construction site that much. And they you should see their face when I stopped them from doing something. And they be like, they want to say, who are you? Right. Actually, I had a guy, there was a dude that was on a scissor lift. A scissor lift is an aerial platform that goes up and down to get the heights. And in that lift, you're supposed to have a safety chain latched. And he didn't have his safety chain latched. And then on top of that, he was standing on top of the rail, which is a fall protection issue. So I yelled at him, hey, get down. In those cases, I got to yell because that is a death immediately. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stop. Who are you? Don't worry about it. Bring it down. Needless to say, he went home. I let him know who I was. So now, after he went home and was retrained and came back, so now when he see me, he know, hey man, I expect you to work safely. I'm trying to save your life. Just yesterday, I had to send somebody home because same type of situation, working on something and you got a 30-foot drop on the side of you gonna die. But the problem is they don't see the benefit. Like I'm gonna put together the classes, but these guys don't even want to invest in themselves. You know what I mean? Like I could do the OSHA 10 classes. It got to be 2 days, well, a day and a half by law. I could rent a conference room on a Saturday or Friday.
At the library.
Yeah, or I could do it at the library. You know what I mean? and and have the class. But guys don't want to sign up. The minimum that I can teach is 3 people, right? But I'm not about to waste 2 days of teaching 3 people. You know what I mean? Like, 3 people. Give me at least 10 people. You give me 10 people, then I'll form a class. Okay. But OSHA 30, that's a different story. That takes 4 days. But here's the thing: is you don't have to do it 4 consecutively. You could, you could do it. Yeah, you could do it. Every other day, as long as you do it within 6 months.
But I know a lot of people want the first aid class, the CPR and first aid.
Yeah, and I could do that. That doesn't take but 5 hours. You do that one day.
Right.
That gets done in one day. You know what I mean? You get that. You get your little certificate and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be putting together some classes soon because. It's just something I really want to, keep doing on the professional side of things, outside of the music and shows and stuff. Okay. You know what I mean? Right. So if you want to get an OSHA 10 class or something, all you gotta do is follow me on IG, 20 Bello, 20 BELLO, DM me, say OSHA 10, OSHA 30, whatever. And when I form the classes, I'll let you know. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
Yes, indeed.
All right, bro. I want to thank you for coming in.
All day, man. I'm getting ready to get out of here, man. And
y'all be on the lookout for the book.
Yeah. I got a lot of things.
Everything coming. So just follow him on IG, Instagram.
Yeah, 20 Bello.
You on there more than Facebook anyway. So.
Yeah, you know what? I just I just got back on Twitter. I got like 7,000 followers on Twitter. I just got back on Twitter.
But people haven't been on it, and you go on there, and you be like, God, it's on my
popping
Twitter
right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, I still got all these followers on Twitter. So I be on Facebook and IG the most, but I just, like I said, I just got back on Twitter. So I'm gonna it's 20 Bello everywhere. My stuff don't change. Like, it's the same name everywhere. 20 BELLO on all platforms, including Facebook. So if you want to find me, you want to come to Mars, holler at me.
That's what's up.
Shout out to everybody out there doing your thing, man. Peace.
All right, bro. Thanks for coming in.
All day.
All right, y'all. It's your girl, Pandora. You know my time is up. I'm going to leave y'all with this joint. 20 Bello featuring Miss Phoenix Amore.
It's hard. Put me in the headphones. Two, yeah. It's life. And they don't know it. Sometimes you hit rock bottom. Shit. I just need somebody to pass me a rope. That's all I need. Before I hit the ground. Yeah. Yeah. Seen some hard times in my lifetime. At times I thought about suicide. Put one in the chamber, then let it go. But deep inside, I ain't wanna die. Deep inside, I just wanna live. Living life without none to give. It hurts every time I see my kids. Ain't never ever in all my years. Felt so low, felt so down. Like all my dreams done past me now. I'm washed up, an old rapper. What's left? Start trapping. Should I rhyme so hard? Money low on my debit card. So I stole, but I fear I might end up back up in 3 parts. Damn, the only good thing is sleep.